going now. Hello and welcome to the Flory Model Show. That's the quietest everybody's ever been. I can have to say, who was breathing heavy? It sounded like the same person who phones me up at 2 a.m. One of you was. Anyway, good evening and welcome to the Flory Models live show. Here we are with you on Thursday, the 24th of March. Happy birthday, Mum. It's my mother's birthday today. So yes, happy birthday to Mum.
Happy birthday,
So
Phil's
that's
mum.
it. If we could all say happy birthday to me, Mum.
Does she actually watch or?
I don't think so. She used to, but I think she's probably got better things to watch, like Coronation Street, Emmerdale, and all the others that are on, to keep her very busy in there. Anyway, no groovy music, no, because people complain. Apparently, complain. You have happy music. You have complain when you don't. You complain everything. So we didn't go with the music. We decided today was going to be mute for a change. Anyway, we all doing all right, guys? How you doing, John?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Very good. Enjoying your holiday?
Well, sort of holiday, yeah.
Oh,
I've put a new basin in the bathroom
right.
because my son broke it.
Doing what? How do you break a basin?
Drop the toothbrush holder,
Oh, right.
which
Okay.
is some acrylic thing that Lynn got,
Mm-hmm.
but it put a nice hole in the basin, so I've had to replace that. Put a new tap in the kitchen because that had it.
That's been leaking for 20 years.
So might save some water now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, your water bill will halve.
So yeah, been a busy week, and hang on, let me just.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Dun, dun, dun.
I finished one.
Look at that. Nice job. Well done.
Good job, John. Looks even better now you took tape off the sides.
It does, doesn't it?
Does.
I was just going to wait and see if anyone noticed it. Yeah, that's one ticked off, so quite happy.
Good. Very, very
Is that
nice.
gonna
So
leave-
remind the
Get
viewers
back
at home what it is.
It's an IDF shot Carl. That's how you pronounce it, which is a Centurion from the Yom Kippur War in 1973 that I've done for the Flashpoint SIG.
Absolutely. It's the
It's
AFE
the
kit.
AFB Club kit,
Yeah.
which is, it's actually the second one I've built of these. I built the Dozer version, Mark 5 Dozer, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad kit. I mean, a few annoying sink marks in it that you've got to deal with, but goes together quite nicely.
On armour, don't they call them dents? Sink
Good
marks.
thinking. I never thought of that.
Just put it down as a dent. So yes.
But, yeah, first time I've used metal tracks. I replaced the rubber band tracks with metal ones.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were a ton of fun to put together.
Oh, you put them together. You didn't get a child to do it.
Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get some poor little child somewhere
Right, like the others. Yeah.
like the others do.
Yeah.
It's taking work away from people.
Yeah.
And I
Is it?
actually did a base.
Yes.
Every time I do an armor subject, I say I'm going to do a base for it, and when I get to the end, it's like, nah, it's done now.
Yeah.
Put it up on the shelf, but I did actually complete a base. So
Very nice.
get back to me comfort zone now and aircraft. Get on with me biggin.
All vegan next, is it? Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice indeed. Good job. And Andy, what you been doing?
Nothing, absolutely bugger all. Watching TV and sleeping, basically.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thanks for all the. I hope you're getting better things in the thing. Yeah, yeah. What I've actually got is a long-term thing, and it'll go on for long term, and it's ups and downs, and the drugs that they've got me on are making me worse than ever. So yeah, don't worry about it. I'll be around for
To
a
be
long
honest,
time.
if you keep losing weight, I'm going to have to stretch your picture because you're getting thinner with every week. And I can't work out if I've got the aspect ratio wrong or you're losing tons of weight. But you seem clearly you are losing a lot of weight. So pretty
talking
soon
to
we're
the
going to
guys
have to
that-
edit you.
Talking to the guys the other day that I've lost like 20 kilos in short term. So yeah, things aren't good. But yeah. The cancer I had last year was found because of what I've got now. Now they're trying to sort out what I've got now. So
no one's given you a pie, have they, recently? Does anyone know that there's a very famous film from what's his face, famous horror writer Stephen King, called Thinner, isn't it?
all right.
The gypsy does the pie, and then the guy eats it, gets thinner and thinner. That's a brilliant film. Very good. You have to be a certain age to know that film, trust me, but it is a good one. So, anyway, Nathan?
I'm obviously too old.
I'm good. I've not finished a model, but I'm getting to the point where one's looking like it's getting there.
Very nice. I thought it was a clipped version until I saw the black wingtips. Yeah. When you had it on your jumper, I thought, against your top, it looked like it was clipped. So
this is the Edard Tempest Mark II.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've managed to keep the old... I was worried last week about the rivets, weren't I? But I think they're there.
Right. Can you hold it up a bit higher? Because you're very low today. That's it.
They're there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool markings. Overall silver. I had a bit of a disaster with the silver. I sprayed one and it went very flecky. Mm-hmm. So I sprayed another one over the top and that seems to have fixed it.
What paint did you use?
I used the it's one of the Tamiya LP colours. It went really flecky. It's a mica silver one. I think it was me more than the paint, to be honest. So then I just put the AK Extreme over it.
Mm-hmm.
I still, that sort of fixed it. But thank God it's high speed silver, because then I can flat coat it and hide a lot of the sin. There you go. The Indian Air Force Tempest. This is for the Flashpoint SIG.
Very nice.
Operation Polo.
Cool. What about the kit? Good kit? Bad kit?
Kit is, I've had any problems with the kit? No problems whatsoever. Gorgeous kit.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend it. It's just fallen together, to be honest. The only tricky bit was the photo grill here.
Yeah.
That was an absolute swine to do, but apart from that, it's fine. And the good news is the decals, they're all right.
All right, so they're not the new type then?
They are the new type, and they're a bit glossier than I seem to remember the first time I used their dark decals.
Mm-hmm.
They have gone down without any bother at all, and I don't think remove the film either. So,
is that actually Edard's or is it someone else's they've reboxed?
This is the kit that Special Hobby did.
Yeah, it was Edard's and Edard gave it to Special Hobby to rebox first.
Yes, I think they did.
Edard kit into it, and Special Hobby reboxed it first, and then Edard boxed it out, didn't they?
But yeah, I think it's all right. Pretty good.
Very cool. Good job. Nice. And Mr. Matt.
Hello.
How's it going there in your nice new place?
Very good. Yeah.
You haven't flicked paint up the walls yet? Got it all over the floor?
No. Leslie's actually next door painting the living room as we speak. So I've got out of that, thankfully.
Yes.
But no, it's all as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing much has been happening. I've been into a bit on the Mustang.
Yes.
As in the interior. See if my camera flicks. There you go. And the engine.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
You're not really going to see it because I'm lining the bonnet up, so I've just sort of painted it. I'm not sure if it's the right shade of blue, but it'll do.
Yes.
It'll do. And then obviously the interior, the chassis, which I need to paint black, and the shells at work in a coat of primer. So you're getting there, pottering along.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So this is just a bit. This is just a build for you, isn't it, Matt? Not a.
Yeah. This is just
It says this, and he's going to send you about 125
no
gig of footage to plow through in one.
No video footage.
Sort that out.
Yeah, that's it. I've been busy. Do you want to see my endeavours? Where's my overhead? So obviously the hurricane has been just had a wash so far. So literally that is about it. But as you can see, we have now got it onto. I'll take this off because it's only going to fall off. But as you see underneath. So this is literally just wash. There's nothing on here yet. There's no oils on it or anything else like that. But we got the gear on today because I wanted to get the gear in and sorted. So very, very happy how she's coming along. So looking very much the part with that. And again, what I really love about this is a good solid model to hold and handle and all the rest of it. It's not going to fall off or anything else like that. The gear's nice and solid on it as well. So it's like bonus time all the way through. So that's that particular one. And also, if I move this over hot, we've also been doing the Hornet. So the Hornet is hot. So at the moment, she hasn't got the tailplanes on because they are just going to fall off very, very quickly. And today we've been messing around with, we've got wing fold on this, which sort of works. It's a bit clunky, and you do have to be a bit sort of careful of how you do it, and the little flappy things on the top, you can't make them move with it, but it does sort of all work once you get them all on. So that's all looking the part down in here. So that's like that. Hold on, if I go overhead you can see it. And we got the flaps in. They took a bit of fudging to get these the little plates on top to go in as well, because, well, they don't want to go in. So that's a little bit of a problem, but yes, you can see that. We've done a little bit of weathering on there. Let's just take these off and I can show you the underside. And it's had its first start with the oil wash. So under here, all it's had is a complete oil wash right the way over it to do the mottly, grimy look. That's what we're trying to do. And then tomorrow what I'm going to do is obviously we'll do streaking coming down the back here and a little bit more. Then once we're happy, then we're going to pop back with a little bit of sort of post shading, if you like, as in doing all the very nice clear, you know, new coat stuff. So because we've weathered it all, it's now going to be a real contrast. So when we come back with the you know, proper top coat of like dark ghost grey on the top, it will look like it's a different colour, so it'll look nice and bright. So the idea being is you've weathered it down as it would do naturally, then we're going to come in and do that sort of corrosion touch-up stuff right the way over it. So really that's the plan for tomorrow, if I get the time, is to get the oil work finished off on the back end and the straights. Who's got the hiccups? And then we're going to go through and then obviously do post shading of putting in like lines and things around where it gets high wear and scrapes and everything else for the anti-corrosion work. And then we go through. But yes, we've done everything else. So we've got the fuel tank underneath. It's nice and grimy and beaten up. But so we've got the tail planes all here. They're ready to go on. Everything's done. It's just a case of getting it all in there. The problem I'm facing is the gear, because of the way the Hornets work and it has its gear, it's like it needs a metal system inside it. It needs that metal skeleton underneath it to really give it proper structure. Because at the moment, if it stays holding the weight of this, it will be a miracle. Because it's definitely a little bit of a weak link for it. But generally, no, it's coming on very nicely. So it's nice to see it's all in there. I'm still quite chuffed with the way it's going and everything. So that's the main thing. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll move it over here before I definitely break it or lose it. So yes, but that's coming along very nicely indeedy. So that's me pretty much up to date, or trying to.
Have you got COVID, Nathan, or what?
Don't think so.
Is it him with the hiccups?
He keeps sneezing and coughing.
Can't have another week off.
Yeah.
Yes, have you done a test recently?
Many more.
How many times a month can you catch it?
Nathan, sit more over to one side. You're being obscured by me there in that corner. That's it, perfect.
Am I too high or am I right?
No, you're fine. No, I tell you what, I can't move that around. It'll be an absolute nightmare. Phil, don't forget the wing fold flaps. Sorry, I don't get you. What's a wing fold flap?
Yeah.
What's a wing fold flap? I don't know what one of those is, and I thought I knew everything about a Hornet, but I must admit, a wing fold flap. Unless you're on about these bits we showed you at the beginning, I said they would fall off. These are a soft fit because obviously you can't glue them because they move on the real aircraft as the wing folds go up and down. Yeah, so I've done them. They're here. I put.
Oh, does it mean forget? I think it means forget them there, not full ready kit.
Oh right, I'll put it with it. Well, I won't. I'll leave them here because I know they're here then.
They come with a complimentary blue tack to.
It will be, yeah. A bit of white tack. We'll be holding those in place as we make our way through with it. But yes, good job. Yeah, okay, that's so. Yeah, they're there. What I will do, I'd say, I'll probably white tack them in place so they're a little bit. But once it's done and photographed, it will probably go in the cabinet. So because it will fit, luckily, on a wing and a prayer. So yes, right. Cool. Just before I forget, we have to say a special happy birthday. Normally we don't do shout outs. But this is a shout out for Keith Huntley, or Biscuit Man as he's known, and this is from his work colleagues over at Keith's Antiques Restoration Workshop House, from Fred, Megan and Richard. Anyway, it's his 60th birthday. So happy birthday, everybody. Say happy birthday.
Keith.
Happy birthday.
He always watches us and he talks about us back at work the next day and everything else. So big happy birthday to you. So we don't normally do those, so it's a bit of a special one there. But apparently he always watches the live streams on the Thursday, but his birthday's on Sunday. But if we could give him a bit of a happy birthday, definitely. We need to cue the Ben and Jerry's happy birthday, but the last time we did it, we got a copyright strike.
Yeah.
Cliff Richard copyright striked us for doing happy birthday of all things. So we won't do that one again.
No, you can't play Cliff.
No, we can't do Cliff. So Cliff, he's very,
No.
Anyway, today's topic was chosen by Nathan. It's always Nathan, just blame him. And he was basically saying, what modelling skills have we lost? And do we need to relearn them? Go on then, Nathan. What's your theory behind this?
Well, I don't know. I've been thinking of stupid topics for the past few weeks. So
This is a good one.
do some half sensible. And the one that did it was we were looking at a portfolio the other day when we were on live, weren't we? And it was just full of Dynavector vac form builds. Now, I've done the odd vac form. I wouldn't say that's a skill that's worth keeping or bringing back, because I think the only reason we built vac form stuff back in the day, it was the only way to build a 48 scale TSR2.
Yes.
Or a Gannet, wasn't it? So is vac forming a skill that we need to reacquaint ourselves with? I'd say probably not. It's not a bad skill to have, it's once you don't deep sprue them, do you? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you flatten them and stuff. Well, the thing for me, the skill that I think I need to reacquaint myself with is brush painting. That's a skill I've completely lost. Completely.
Why?
Why? I mean, it's just like on this one. Can't really show you because it's all masked up, but I ended up spraying bits of this cockpit when the parts are really small, less than a centimetre squared in area.
Yeah.
Sprayed it.
Yeah.
And then masked it up. And you're thinking, God, this is the right old faff, masking and spraying black and green in the cockpit when I literally was like masking up little tiny boxes. But this is so much easier to paint it, but I can't do it. Can't brush paint for toffee. I probably could if I sat down and relearned the skill, put the time and energy back into it. So I'm thinking back form is a skill that I've lost and I don't miss.
Does hand painting go with like the products we use now, because we're using more lacquer products which don't Tamiya acrylics and things that don't brush paint very well, whereas before we were using things that did brush paint well.
Back in the Humbrol days.
It's one of the reasons why I've kept all my old Vallejo Model Air. I'd probably never use them again for paint for airbrushing. But for brush painting, so like for doing small bits like cockpits and what have you, they seem to work really well. Yeah, so so if I want to get a black, I'll probably use a Vallejo black and just straight out the bottle of Model Air. You can paint it straight away, kind of a bit of thinners or something. But say a lot of stuff we now use isn't really suitable for brush painting, is it?
The lacquers aren't. But, I mean, I've got Humbrol paint still, so I should be able to brush.
Yeah.
I think it's the thinning and the right brush, and it's a technique, isn't it, that I've lost completely.
Watching Matt do some of his stuff now, and how thin he paints the paints, is eye opener to me. Because I've always think it's like one and gone. You sort of put one coat on, and you've done it. Whereas watching Matt and build the paints up in thin layers, has like been an eye opener. Watching him, see, I've learned something for doing the editing.
But I think that, if you, as I say, I'm by no means a hand painter, and I haven't hand painted since the 90s, since when I learned how to airbrush. But I know a couple of people who do. We used to have a member who's no longer with us who used to do fantastic 30-second scale stuff, and it was always hand painted, and you'd never spot it. And again, I think they all agree the secret is very thin coats, and you build it up. So that way you don't lose the detail. Because otherwise, you say one and done it, any riveting detail you had gets flooded in and all the rest of it. So definitely. But again, I think it's all very well, certain things you've lost and other ones come back. We say it's a bit like fashion, isn't it? Like black basing. that was a classic. When that came back, everyone's writing it up as if it's some new miracle thing, and it's something that was very old technique, but it went out of fashion. And again, like paints seem to come in and out of fashion, different glues come in and out of fashion. I know me and Matt were talking the other day, but I've been using Contactia glue more. I know this is because I'm doing bigger kits, but you forget actually how good this stuff is, you know, from using those, because you're so used to using extra thins, but they're okay if you're doing small little quick jobs. But if you want to do something like, you know, working on 24 scale stuff, you need glue with some time. And it really is strong stuff, and it grips well, and there's very little against it. It's only if you end up flooding it and squeezing it and it beads out and everything, then it's a problem. But generally it's really, really good stuff. So, but again, I think it's the thing with the hobby though, isn't it? You get sort of genres, each genre, like, you know, if you're armour, they sort of have weathering things come around in circles. Aircraft things do, especially things in aircraft like fillers and stuff like that, you know, because obviously acrylic fillers were a massive thing a few years ago, wouldn't it? Using perfect plastic putty for everything. But again, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a good old-fashioned bit of putty. Or like I've been using recently, I've gone back to doing talcum powder and super glue for pretty much everything, because it's just so quick, no shrinkage. You can easily sand it, it rivets, it rescribes. No, I can't actually find a fault with it. It's just the flaff of having to make it up when you need it, and obviously you end up with quite a bit of wastage from it. You know, but again, everything has its sort of come round with it, and in all the different genres. And I think sometimes it's one of those things that, you know, like hand painting for doing cockpits and that, if you literally mask up your cockpit, you know, do the black work, airbrush it, then you mask it up to do all the what. You could have done it days ago if you just hand painted it and got on with it. But again, people don't like to do it. I don't like to do it. I just think it dries quicker if you're airbrushing and things like that. So that's why I do it from that point of view. But again, I know the guys in the chat were saying like Posca pens. That does a lot for me now. Like anything that's black in a cockpit gets a Posca pen or a Sharpie. Because I say I've been using Sharpies today. I know I've done all the edging on the doors and the things for the Hornet. It's all done with a Sharpie. Yet before that would have been a paintbrush. Get very delicately going in there. I don't know. What do you reckon, Matt?
I reckon, you know, buying a kit on a Saturday morning and have it finished by Saturday tea time for tea and medals. That's a lost skill.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I really would.
You know, we wouldn't have a stash then, would we? We've
No.
modelled that fast like we used to.
Yeah.
That's why I like the weekend builds we do. So it's like concentration.
Yeah, but even a weekend build can't be a weekend build, can it? It goes on for 3 months. Look.
Yeah.
There is something actually quite liberating about them weekend. When we do like the turkey shoot, it is quite a liberating thing not to actually worry, just to build it and paint it and just have fun.
Need to do one.
I think the thing with those builds, when you do them in a weekend, what's really nice about them is that your mind hasn't got time to overthink it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think we're guilty of as modelers, isn't it? You overthink things. So you see a problem that's probably not a problem anyway, but they've created it in your mind, and then you sit and worry about it and stare at it for a few days, and you're like, how am I going to fix that? I don't know, I'm going to go watch some YouTube. Yeah, but if you're doing a weekend build, isn't it? You're like, I don't know, we just glue it and see what happens, you know? And that's the thing, we just fill it and sand it. And that's what you need sometimes. It's just that little bit of push and get on with it. No fussing around with it.
You need a bit of pressure.
Yeah, that's it. The pressure works.
You do need to put yourself under a bit of pressure to actually get your brain going, to actually solve the problem and not get distracted and go and watch YouTube or start another kit or whatever else, because it is too easy to do, isn't it, really? It is. I totally agree with that, to be honest.
So what was the pressure then as a 10-year-old kid? Is to say, you buy it in the shop at 9 o'clock, you've got it on fire in your garden by 6.
There's no pressure as that, because you've got experience. The more experience you get, the more you put yourself under pressure, because you're trying to reach some, you know, godlike status of modelling that really do you know what I mean? I think I do think you have to push yourself in this hobby, like anything. I think you do have to push yourself to make yourself better, but also it's also nice to just take a step back and put something together and paint it and just enjoy it.
Is that not one of the downfalls of having so few model shows nowadays, that you got nothing to push for and so like, you know, to build for?
To get to.
It is for Nathan.
Yeah.
It is for Nathan.
Yeah.
It's took the edge off it for Nath, hasn't it? Because he used to like to combat model, didn't you? You call it just before Telford of I need to build something massive in a week.
Yeah, combat.
Something impossible in a week.
I think this idea of constant improvement is perhaps driven by social media and the internet. That every build you've got to do better, and you're watching YouTube videos to see how to weather, and you try and make every model better, and you put yourself on the.
It's a double-edged sword, I think, isn't it? The whole internet thing is.
I'll tell you what,
it's brilliant.
I had a really interesting conversation about 2 or 3 months ago, just after Christmas, with a friend of mine, and we were talking about obviously how social media has changed everything, including modelling, right? So bear with me on this one. But obviously, we've all seen pictures of pretty girls on the internet, and obviously with the thing that goes along with it, where, you know, everybody aspires now to be that image, which isn't real because it's all fakes, it's all photoshopped and all the rest of it, right? That goes down to modelling as well, because people put up models on the internet, and you know they fought and struggled and spent months to just produce this thing, which is like amazing, to put it out on social media and all the rest of it, and to get the likes and to get the, you know, the sort of, you know, the pat on the back and all that's amazing and all the rest of it. Have they had fun though? That's the thing, because they've now got that pressure to produce a model that is that good to be seen and to get that, oh, that's amazing, have you seen, blah blah blah, has done that and all the rest of it. And that's, social media has now put pressure on modelers, just as it does for teenage girls and all the rest of it, to aspire to be. We're now being pushed by social media to produce more accurate models, to produce more, you know, better models and all the rest of it than perhaps you would do if you were normally just building for yourself with no social media and no photos.
It's the race to perfection that is never ever going to happen. Just that, I do it. Yeah, filters on your phone, and you know, I can take a photo of what I've done here and put filters on it, and it look fantastic. Don't get me wrong. So yeah, there is that. I think it's false. It's just a false world, isn't it? The whole social media is a false.
Yeah. I was thinking about it today, and my one was patience. A lot of people want instant results now. They watch YouTube and the internet and that. What they don't realise is some of these guys have been building models 30, 40 years, and they've got all that experience behind them. But people now expect to be able to come in, get a kit, build it, and it's got to look like that.
Yeah, but as an 8-year-old kid, did you have any patience? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't.
I mean,
it's like, quick, I need to get it out of the box, I need to build it, I need to put the decals on it, and then I need to, you know, do whatever, because just how it was, wasn't it? It's a bit of a different, I suppose, time as well, but you didn't have that pressure, I suppose, of the social media and YouTube and all the other bits and bobs. So I don't know, I think we're going a bit off tangent as usual on a Thursday, but like I said, the whole social media, the Facebook and all the internet thing is a double-edged sword, because I actually think what used to be for me was probably a very isolating hobby is now a very social hobby.
Yes.
And I think that is a good thing.
Oh, definitely is a good
because
thing.
You used to be that, you build model kits, you sit on your own in your bedroom and all that sort of, you know, stigmatism, really. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
But that has now gone, and I think we've said it before, obviously, with the wargaming lot, the cosplay people, all them have brought all this now, because of the internet and social media, all to the forefront, and it's cool.
Yes.
Marvel is cool now, where comics used to be
geeky.
Right, kids read comics.
Yeah.
No, they don't do that. But it's always been that stigmatism, isn't it? Of that's for kids. Why are you doing that? It's for children, and it's not, because none of it is it? Because it's all being creative. To me, it's like you wouldn't go to a artist who paints and go, "Oh, kids do that." So what's the difference with this? Or a sculptor, or
yeah.
You know I'm getting at, don't you?
No, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
So, anyway, I don't know what that's got to do with lost skills.
No.
Probably not a lot.
One that I've just thought of now is building out the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be separate.
Yes.
I bet there's loads in chat.
It sort of links in with what we've been saying, just been talking about, but
I think they overcomplicate stuff now, Jude.
Yeah. Even if you buy a kit and think, right, I'm going to build it out the box, how many times do you end up actually looking on the internet and, like, say, going on Scalemates, and then you look at the list of extras you can get for it, and you just give in,
yeah,
buy it for the sake of buying it? It's like an automatic reaction now.
Yes, you do, John.
Yes, John.
Yeah, I'm as guilty of it as anyone. Believe me.
No, it is.
That 190 I did just before Christmas. That was great fun. It was just I got aftermarket decals to replace the horrible Tamiya ones that were all yellow and not much cop, but actually just pure enjoyment from the build. Was brilliant.
That's what I was saying.
I've done it in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, with aftermarket stuff.
About that build and the Mustang, do they have aftermarket seat belts in them? The Mustang, the Tamiya Mustang.
The Mustang.
And does the 190 that you built, John, have aftermarket seat belts in it?
Oh no, but I just made mine up from some like lead wire, flattened lead wire.
The old skill that's lost.
This thing that I built, that's got aftermarket seat belts in it. And a mass set, and that was it out of the box from that bolt.
Well, I reckon even if you build out the box, don't even bother with seat belts. Just that lead one costs pennies, doesn't it? Rather than a £5 for an aftermarket for your seat belt set. I think there is definitely something to be said for just building it for the pleasure of building it. It doesn't matter if it's better than your last model or worse. Maybe that is.
It all goes back to what we were saying previously about perfection and accuracy and stuff like that. You're just brainwashed into going down that route nowadays, which is the downside of the internet, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think the trouble with the internet is that unless you've spent a horrendous amount of money on your kit, and then, as you're saying, with all the aftermarket bits and all the rest of it, it's like, oh, well, you're not doing it properly, And as you say, I'm not going to start going down in my views on people on the internet doing things and various things, because clearly I have them. But it's that thing of everyone just trying to pull the next one over with the other people and stuff, and it loses, I think, that thing about the reason you're doing it. That's the only thing is, at the end of the day, you should be doing it for you and the enjoyment and what you get out of it. But I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves to try and make that next best thing to appear like a showstopper and everything else like that. Even if they don't take it to a show and it's just on the social media and things. But it's that pressure. What I was getting at, it was that pressure that you get from all areas. Because let's face it, you get it in the car side of it. If you belong to a car club and you've got a car, it's like, oh, what air filter you got on that then? Oh, that's not very good. You need to do this. You've got a tuned exhaust for it? No, okay. And before you know it, you're like spending an absolute fortune to keep up with what the social media says you should be doing and have and everything else like that. And you're sort of forgetting about the enjoyment bit you're doing from it. That's all I'm getting out of it,
Don't you think that was around there before the internet, the keeping up with the Joneses?
Well, that's basically what... It's not even keeping up with the Joneses. It's trying to outperform the Joneses these days, isn't it? You're trying to go better than the Joneses.
I think just more of them.
Chat has just said out of the box sync for next year, but we did one, didn't we? Not long ago.
That, yeah.
It's on the list. I'll put it on the list. Never know.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking something I've not done in a long time.
This list, can we have it like Dad's Army? Like the list. Get his name on the list. We can put it down. I still think the resurrection
sig. Yeah. The don't stand in pike sig, that's what I'll do. I was thinking of something I've not done in a long, long time. Do you remember using pastels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just scrape them with your scalpel. Yeah. And I think that's a technique, that's something I've not done in ages. I'm thinking, where are my pastels?
I think dry brushing is gone out of fashion.
No, I still do that quite a lot though. I always do it on my cockpits and everywhere. But there you go, Nathan. I can vouch for pastels because look, I have boxes of them here, which probably like new because I don't use them anymore, but I used to back in the day,
I mean, you did drive on the Hurricane Cup, didn't you, with buffable paint?
It was a bit like getting my. Hold on, let me do the other. Oh no, I've lost them. No, I haven't. Do you remember that old technique of taking water pencil? Oh no, they do now. They're called AK. Sorry. Thing is, it just gets reinvented now by certain other companies who like make it fashionable again. These older ones, isn't it? They bring them around again. But yes.
It's all pigments, just pastels, ready ground and
pre-ground. Yeah.
Indian ink. I mean, the Spanish school, that's dropped off the. We used to do cockpits in the Spanish school style with fake shadows and all that. It's just on. That technique is, to my mind, it's.
Do you know, I never got that one. That's one of the techniques, I must admit, I just didn't get on board with.
Yeah.
Putting fake shadows in a cockpit.
I never did it, but I remember that being the thing.
One is, you can't see them anyway, because you can't see them from the side looking in particularly well, because normally you look straight down in a cockpit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but if you're doing it for a book or a magazine, you need to exaggerate it so it looks good in the picture. You wouldn't do it in real life because, like I say, you don't see off it, it's buried. But if you're doing it actually for a magazine, then you do need to do the arty sort of shadows, highlights, and exaggerate it, don't you? Because it does look good. I like the look of it, if I'm honest, but then I like that sort of style of painting anyway. I think, again, it's your preferred preference with styles of people modelling it.
Yeah.
I think scratch building SIG might resurrect some old school kit bashing skills. That might bring people. It might. I think when we're doing that, we might think, "Oh God, I used to do this all the time."
Using balsa wood to do conversions.
Balsa wood and then soaking it in super glue to make it. Like I used to carve cockpits and plunge mould them. The canopies, rather plunge mouldy canopies. I've done that in ever. Back form canopies, that's something we always used to sort of get scale thickness on your canopies. You used to get like a Aero Club aftermarket canopy. Again, that's gone.
Yeah.
But I think kit bashing is going to bring some proper skills back because I bought one of those Luftwaffe project magazines at Smith's the other day. I thought there's going to be something I could scratch build out of this. Got me thinking, God, I've not done any back form work in forever, and balsa wood, I mean, I've not done that in years.
But don't you think these skills are not needed no more because kits have moved on and technology's moved on to make them better? We ain't got to go back to the Dark Ages and the Stone Age to chisel a kit out of a lump of granite to. Do you know what I mean? It's like everything evolves. So why are they lost skills? There's lost skills in life.
Because there's a reason it's
going back forever, isn't it? Because times have moved on. So. I think things come in and out of fashion. I agree with you with that, as in techniques coming in and out of fashion all the time, don't they? You know, like we always joke about enamels coming back because that's about the only thing that's not been resurrected in some point by somebody, isn't it? But I do think, like you say, that unless there's something precise you really, really want to build.
I mean, could you build a kit of something could you build a model of something that's never been done as a kit? I found these pictures of this like Project Bomber for the Luftwaffe, and nobody's done it ever. And I'm thinking, could I actually manage it by taking wings off? It looks a bit like a Sabre and a MiG-15. I'm thinking, do I get wings off a kit and do I try and vac form a fuselage? I'm thinking, I was sat on like the train platform, mate, for the train. It's like these are things I've not done in absolutely forever.
But in that thing, Nave, it's like CAD it and print it on a printer.
So that's what people will do in 5 years' time, is to just print it.
But that's doing what sort of people do now. I haven't got the skills nowhere near to CAD something, but that's what you can do now, where you've never been able to do that. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do it. Now you can literally learn Tinkercad or Blender or one of the other things, and you can do anything, can't you? Literally.
Don't need to vac form it now.
You don't need to vac form it. You can do canopies because you can do clear resin. You can, it's obviously that's a skill to learn, isn't it?
So this scratch building SIG could be the swan song, couldn't it? Because that's a skill that I don't think people like you get your industrial light and magic type modelers that scratch build spaceships.
No, because it's all computer now. It's all computer generated, and it'll be printed.
Yeah.
Print it off.
Well, the classic. Sorry, go on.
In chat, some of the guys are saying that what we're talking about is old skills because they're newish to the hobby.
Yeah,
it's like new skills to them. So it's all like it's it's good that people still do use the old skills. That,
as you all know, I always say I'm a builder. I'm not a painter or weather. I'm a builder. That's what I enjoy, and I quite like the tactile thing of making something. To just type away on a computer for a few days and then send it over to a printer, that's not enjoyable. I like, to be able to take something and make something out of it using these things.
But you say using these
just
things,
an extension. You're using these things, and then it comes out of a machine.
Using these things, then is that including going on to Hannons and
kind of 3D building it on a computer screen, though, aren't you?
Yeah,
but it's not tactile, is it? It's not.
There's no difference of like creating it yourself in 3D and printing it out as going on to Hannons and saying, "Oh well, they're nice exhaust font colours."
Yeah,
when you can do it yourself anyway.
It's just interesting.
It's only the same thing, but it's just like a different.
End result's the same, but the how you get there is completely different, isn't it?
It's the journey.
Yeah.
These are the things you think of when you sat down waiting for a train to Liverpool Central, thinking what we're going to do on the Thursday night show. Old skills that we've all had in the past have gone.
I think in some ways, though, if you think about it, really, modelling is one of those ones where you might not use a particular skill, as we call it, but every now and again you might think, oh, I'll use that now. Like me using superglue and filler, superglue as a filler with talc. I used to use that all the time in the 90s. That was pretty much standard. And I haven't really done it because it's just, you can use other things. And then I started using it again. I can't remember what it was now, something or other I was working on. And it was like, it's the Spitfire. Because I needed a quick little job. And I had the super glue there. And I thought, look, I've got my talc. So I was like, right. And it works so well. I've been using it pretty much on every model since because it's quicker, faster and easier than filler. It's just the faff of making it up. If I could have it made up, ready to go, I would be fine. But, and I know before everyone says about if you thought about storing it in the fridge and stuff, but it will still go off because it's, it's like when the air gets to it. But again, all the other skills, sometimes they come around and you're like, that worked really well. Other times you do it and it doesn't work so well in a particular environment. So, it's to say, but generally you tend to still use them all, unless you are talking about spraying, like hand painting. But then I think I've sort of evolved onto it. But then obviously if you were doing like Matt does figures, you can't airbrush a figure. You could, I suppose. But it's probably more of a faff to airbrush it than it is to paint it.
To base it up, it's better to have an airbrush. But yeah, the brush painting the details obviously you can't do. But yeah, it depends on the size of the figure. Sometimes it's quick to do it. The little 35th ones, I find it's quick to do it with a brush and try to airbrush it. But obviously that bust thing I did airbrush his uniform and the base layers because you get a smoother
finish.
A smoother base coat, to be honest, and it's just quicker doing it. And then obviously it's all brushwork after that. But that brush paint is not a lost skill, is it?
No.
It's just a skill you do. It's just something to practice, and
it's probably a perishable skill though, because if you haven't done it for a while, you've got to remember
it's muscle memory.
Your techniques of doing it, and remembering exactly what thickness of paint and how far you can work it and stuff like that, isn't it?
Well, I brush painted most of the interior on this Mustang, to be honest. It was mainly because I hate masking. And it's obviously got red door cards and like a black, well, it should be sort of black carpet, but I've actually done it grey, but whatever. It's, and the back seat's moulded in. I just thought it was quicker to actually brush paint it than it is to faff around hours masking for like 5 seconds of spraying. Because you're not going to see a lot of it anyway once the body shell top's on. You can only see through a window so far. So it was I just find it easier and quicker to sometimes brush paint than, like I say, have hours and hours of masking for same effect you can get around anyway. So yeah, I don't know. If somebody keeps asking a question about something, I can't.
There's one from Adam, and it says, "What defines a lost skill? Is it a skill you used to use but don't use anymore, or is it a technique from days gone past?"
Both.
I think we're talking about both, really, aren't we?
Both, innit?
A bit. I mean, a lost skill is something like you've lost the ability to do something, or you've lost the ability to do something as well as you could. You know, I mean, we all forget French after you stop learning French at school, don't we? Because you lose it.
We.
You beat me to that.
You wear that. Tell you what, there's one thing that I don't miss from back in the day is Aries cockpits that were on a block of resin that was 3 times bigger than the cockpit.
Oh God, yeah.
Thing where you were sanding it so you could see through it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's something I'm not really going to reacquaint myself with, putting Aries cockpits into things. But it's just a thought. It's like we all get sucked along with these trends that seem to come up every year or two, and then I'm thinking, is there an old way of doing it that actually is better? But definitely brush painting is a skill I need to reacquire.
But like you said, sorry about that, as a classic example is that, and again, this isn't having to go at any company, but there's companies out there now that will flog you a ready-made formula for everything, weathering orientated probably, you know. Whereas before, if you've just got a range, and not a full range, but just your usual sort of suspects for oils, you can just make them up yourself. Instead of people are probably losing that art of thinking, I'll just knock up my own washes. And your own filters and your own things like that, because nowadays we've all been conditioned that AK, MIG, whoever it is, do a range of, and you can just go out and buy that precise colour and away you go.
But don't you just think that's for convenience?
Yeah, that's what we said. That is the whole point, is like we said before, if you're one of these people who can't be asked to make up your own wash, then absolutely, if you've got a jar of it just there, it's like saying make up your own paint colours. It's like, yes, I could just make up my own. But why would you, when you could have a bottle there, sat there, ready to go, mix it up and away you go. So, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I mean, I've got MIG washes. I'm a dark brown wash for green vehicles. They're so precise and prescriptive.
Yeah.
I use it.
Yeah, because it doesn't work on any other type of vehicle apart from green vehicles.
Doesn't work on
That's
green
why you need the other 400 in the range.
So that's where it's a bit cheeky, because you could, in a couple of minutes, with a bit of enamel thinners and a little bit of on-roll paint, make my own wash. But
yeah, of course you
it's
could.
just a thought. It's like, I think the kit bashing SIG's going to bring a lot of. I think we're all going to realise, oh my god, I've not done this in years.
Oh, we're all going to think, why the hell are we doing this? It's doing my head in, and whoever thought of it wants a slap.
Yeah, the bit where you got bits of stuck to you. You remember a long time ago, I was working on a particular kit, and I did it as a joke, as stuck all bits to me face because I was covered in it.
I think mine is going to look like a 5-year-old school project. If I'm honest, I might get Lydia to do it. She'll probably do a better job than I will. Actually,
show and tell. It's
yeah,
a volcano, isn't it?
It could go really well. It could be an absolute disaster. That. But I think hopefully people have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, and again, this will be one of those things. It doesn't matter if you finish it or not. This might be a project that you work on and you put down, and then every now and again you drag it all out again and continue along with it. And the great thing about scratch building as well is that unless you're building something specific, but if you're going to be doing something like I do that technically doesn't exist and it's going to be a complete, whatever, I could continue to evolve that kit for years in theory. You could just put more bits onto it, cut bits off, put a new thing onto it, and just keep going at it forever. And that's the fun thing with them.
So how many of your lot have actually pre-planned your build?
I think mine's going to be very organic.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good idea on mine now.
I ain't got a Scooby-Doo.
John?
I had an idea, but I might, with the current climate, I might switch from the idea I originally had in mind. But we'll see.
Yeah, that budget was not great yesterday, was it? What, did 5p off a litre or something? Brilliant, well done, thanks.
Last Wednesday, doesn't it? No, well, I don't know, man.
We're not going down that route.
No, we're not, I know.
Used to buy I think there's a book, and it's How to Do Battle of Britain Aircraft. I swear it might be the different book, and half the book is bits of balsa wood being bolted onto things to make a Defiant. And then to make an accurate 109, you used to take a tail, I think the tail of a Matchbox 109.
Oh, that was the old
109, and you'd cut two kit. You get the best halves of each kit and bolt them together. And
that was the old scale models special, wasn't it? By Ray Rymel, was it?
Mm.
And he did all the aircraft of the Battle of Britain in 72nd scale. Yeah, I used to have that.
I swear there's bits of balsa being stuck on things and all sorts of mad techniques that you just don't. You just buy the Airfix Defiant. You know, it's a good kit. You don't need to be messing around with turning a Hurricane into a Defiant and stuff. But we'll see how this group build goes at the end of the year. But my build is going to be completely organic. It's just going to evolve as it goes, I think.
Looking forward to that, actually.
I'm making a spaceship of some sort from the Star Wars universe, and those are the only. And it's not going to be a model of a real Star Wars one. It's going to be just vaguely Star Wars-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And a bottle of Coke as the base for it, and just greebly it to bits and see what I end up with.
I'm thinking it is an opportunity to get rid of some of my shelf queens and there'll be all sorts stuck to it.
It's just we'll see.
But that's the thing, like we were saying, the great thing about it is you can take a kit that you've got that's gathering dust and repurpose it into something else. So I know people are probably thinking, oh, I've got no idea. But, you know, one of the things you could do is have a look at your, you know, technically what you've got around you, and you think, you know what, there's a bits missing off of that kit and bits broken. You could repurpose it and then use it as a base for something else.
Yeah.
Like Nathan's got there, look.
Like on the bridge of a ship.
This is it.
That looks
No,
like
because you need to finish that.
you don't
I'm
need
just
to
waiting
at all.
for Ramjet to start CAD designing a Javelin in 72 scale, and just wait long enough, Airfix will get there.
Yes. Right, shall we do some questions? Because we've got a few to get through. Okay, Dave says, hi guys, he's starting the Tamiya 132nd F4J. Question is it a tail sitter? I've also got the Zucamori Phantom in my stash. Does anyone know if they are sitters too? No, Phantoms aren't. Not unless you've got something really heavy in the back end, but Phantom is nothing near a tail sitter. You'll be absolutely fine. I've never known a Phantom to be anything close even. So you'll be fine with that one.
Stop. Hold on. James has just put, can you remember the Blue Peter Tracy Island?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, yeah, crikey.
That was a proper scratch building.
Yeah.
And how many fires were caused by their Advent crown before they turned around and said about using flameproof tinsel on it? That was a death trap waiting to happen, wasn't it? How we all made it through the 70s is beyond me. How to burn your house down in one easy movement. Don't tell your parents what you're up to and build this and put candles in it. God. Right, okay, Bruce says, a couple of quick questions. What's the latest on the merchandising? Merchandising will be up on the 1st of April. There's a reason for that, is that it's the new financial year for me at the end of, obviously, on the 1st of April from a company point of view. So it makes total sense to do it then. But let's say it's all set, ready to go, but it will be up on the 1st of April.
Ish. I promise a date because I'll be expecting it. Ish.
That's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, April Fool's Day it will be up. But yeah, so that's that one. Secondly, some time ago, I purchased. You all right, John? You got COVID?
Yeah.
Have you had a test recently?
No, just choking, that's all.
That's it, fine. Can you keep down, please? Try and read it. God, no, he's off as well now. God almighty. I purchased one of your worktops. Worktops. Does he mean as in the
One of these things.
The what?
No,
I've got.
Yeah.
Plastic ones.
The plastic ones, yeah. I didn't know if you meant one of these or something. I still have the plastic frame, okay, from which the worktop components are removed. It seems a waste just to throw in the rubbish. Have you found a use for it? John, found a use for yours?
Yeah, worktop. Very nice.
I don't know, because again, I wasn't privy to them coming out. They never actually left here. They came from the factory that made them, so that used to do them. But I don't know really. As I say, you could use them as a cutting board or things like that as well.
I still use mine. It's all right.
Is it the lump of acrylic?
Yeah, I think he means the lump of acrylic that used to come out the middle bit, wouldn't it? And that.
Yeah.
So no, that's it. I still don't know how you survived a blood pressure 300 by 200. Well, it wasn't 200. It was like 100. And, the bottom one was like 100 and whatever it was, 35. So it was 320 over 135, whatever it was. So yeah, nor do I. And to be honest, nor does anyone else. Apparently they were all sort of thinking, that's it, he's gone. Thank God. Steve says, hi guys, fantastic shows along with the recent fighter podcast episode. Piqued my interest with the British fighter aircraft from the Cold War through to the Gulf War period. I live in the US and this discovery of RAF aircraft and the history associated with them has re-energized my modelling. Cool. I built the 72nd scale that I've read through the Flory. God, we haven't done that for a while. Do you remember we used to do that? The best model kit in scale section, that's well out of date. I probably wouldn't trust that. And scale mate several times based on research, best kit list. Welcome some feedback from the Flory team about choices for alternative suggestions. Although time permits, you could discuss RAF fast jet trainer aircraft used during that period. That's a short list. So anyway, okay, so this is all in 72nd, if I remember rightly. So it definitely would be the Lightning for the Lightnings, wouldn't it? Airfix for the Lightnings.
Airfix, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Buccaneer definitely in 72nd because obviously it's a new tool kit. The Hunter, ooh.
Revel.
Revell Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Revell Hunter. Jaguar, be a Tallery, wouldn't it?
Asagawa's not bad, is it?
It's a close match if you can get it. The Italy one's easier to get than the Hasegawa one, but I don't think there's a lot in them. Is the Nathan?
Yeah,
there's not much in it. I've built that one.
Yeah,
there is someone on YouTube that has done the 72nd Italy one in it. That's just come out and it didn't look great.
No, it didn't. But Phil's going to rebuild it, and
I'm
he'll
going to
show
rebuild it. I'm going to redo it
properly.
because I say it's my first ever video build. That was. Anyway, Tornado, based on Nathan's recommendations, obviously the Edard Revell Desert Bay type kit. You've nailed it there. As I say, your choice really is just the Jaguar in there. As I say, I've got the Tallery one. I can't vouch for the Hasegawa one. I've never built it. But
so you could add the Airfix jet promised for trainer aircraft.
Yeah.
The Hawk is Revell Airfix. They're both nice.
I was going to say it's Revell and Airfix, really, isn't it, for RAF stuff? More Airfix if you want stuff like that. So.
And then
Phantom.
Phantom.
Yeah, Phantom again. Airfix if you're doing the 72nd ones.
Airfix have pretty much got you covered because it's their scale and it's their sub. So the Harriers are a great place to start.
Yeah.
That's iconic Cold War British jet, isn't it?
Then when you built all them, you can go on to a Vulcan, Victor, Valiant.
Yeah, do the V-Force and work your way through, isn't it? So and then Nimrod.
Yeah.
So
I think Airfix is
pretty much as you say. It's funny that Airfix done a really good job when you look back on it and they've worked through them all.
Yeah, it was their bread and butter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is their sort of core sort of era, isn't it? And but I reckon if I was going to build one of those, which is the best kit out of that list? The Airfix Lightning is sublime.
It's got to be Lightning or Buccaneer, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say I built the Buccaneer, built the Lightning, we all built the Phantom.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Revell Hunters are brilliant. I love building them. And they're just so simple.
Yeah, I built the Revell Hunter. It was a Poto build. I think we've got rid of it now, but it's a great little kit.
I think the two on the list that's crying out for an update is obviously the Jaguar and the Tornado.
Yeah.
Need, redoing into modern standards. They're not bad kits for their age, but they definitely need modernising by somebody, don't they?
Well, let's face it, Airfix are going to have to do the Tornado. Now it's out of service and all the rest of it. They've got no excuse. So,
the Revell Tornado takes a bit of work. It's a decent. The clear parts can be a bit.
Not very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, Darren says, good morning. He's in the process of building the David Brown tractor from World War II, 1940s onwards. The kit comes with no instructions telling you what colour the tractor is. Do you have any ideas on what colour I can find? Well,
it's just called RAF Blue Grey, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the RF one. So I think it's just called RAF Blue Grey. It's standard colour. They did all their
Ground equipment in.
A tanker do it.
So yes, it is going to be then RAF Blue Grey. Nice straightforward.
that is the colour of what it's called.
Rust.
Yeah, as it's now known Rust. Eric says, hi team, he's building the Edard 48 scale Air Cobra, which is the P39. I tried to doing the seat belts, but the decals onto a piece of kitchen foil, but they came off when you started to bend them. Right, there's a thing to that. What you can do, and I think I did it on mine, is if you put down some thinned PVA glue, if you get a little bit of thinned PVA glue or just normal PVA glue and put the decal onto your foil, and it will stop it peeling off, because otherwise you are right. Once it dries out, it can't get a grip on the surface because it's too shiny. So if you put a little bit of PVA glue down and then just come in with a cotton bud, wet it and then wipe it over the top, and it will stick to it, you won't get it peeling up and bending off. So that's what I usually do when I do that little trick. He says he's also got the 3 coloured ground signal lights for the wing detail, which got a little photo here, which is this one. But you're saying there's no surface detail for it. So like we were looking at this just before, technically what you could do is just drill 3 holes and then backfill it with clear red, clear green and clear yellow. Would probably give you a more realistic look to it, or you could put them down. But yeah, you've just got the little 3 colour light switch on there.
I'd looked before we came on air, because we were talking about it, weren't we, before we came on, and I checked references because I can't find any pictures with them on.
Mind
Just
you,
double check.
I don't know. Yeah, mind you, the Air Cobra is quite. What was that? Beginning of the war, end of the war? Can't remember when they started coming in with those.
Yeah,
Middle, wasn't it?
You know what the lazy modeler in me is thinking? It's underneath.
Yeah. There just seems to be, there's a reason why Edard, I mean, I know it's an older Edard kit, but why didn't they put it on in the first place?
It is weird.
I'd check references before you put them on, to be honest with you.
Yes. Yes, just to see exactly which type it is. Okay, Keith says, quick question following on for last week's question. Can I use Tamiya X20 thinner with X and XF paints for the lacquer effect? Don't forget, you talk X20 is enamels, is the blue one, which is that one.
Yeah, but it does go and say he uses X20 anyway.
Yeah, so X20 is that one, and then obviously X28, I'm going to prove this because it gets a little bit confusing sometimes. And they do another one which has got like a buff coloured top as well. So as I say, X20, X28, don't get those two ever confused because it can happen. And obviously you've got their lacquer one, and they do another one, it's got a buff coloured top, which is the same thing though, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still, yeah, it's the black one as well.
One retarder in it and one hasn't. I can't remember which way around it is.
Orange one's retarder, buff one's just no lacquer fillers.
Yeah.
So for a lacquer effect, I use the Tamiya acrylics. I have X28 thinners already. Also, what clear would you recommend if you're going down this route? I've got Vallejo airbrush cleaner and thinner. Just wondering if that would work using X20. Are we talking that he's thinking it's the lacquer one?
I don't know. I've read it earlier. To be honest, I'm a bit confused by it.
Keith, if you're in chat, which one do you mean, the lacquer one or the enamel one? Because obviously you can't use the enamel one with the lacquer paints because it will just go separate.
You can't use it with any of them. You can't use it with XFs either because it's for their enamel range of paints that we don't get over here. But if you're back,
X20s are really good enamel thinners.
Yeah, but you can only get out of Japan because we can't sell it.
When you need it, it's the best thing. I think if you're going to lacquerize your XF paints with a lacquer thinners, you have to clean your airbrush with a lacquer thinners afterwards.
Yes, definitely.
So I tend to use lacquer thinners to clean the airbrush.
I use lacquer thinners right the way through my 270 for everything. So for cleaning up and everything, and obviously I spray enamel through it through using extreme metals. So,
but the X20 he's talking about is the enamel thinners, though, isn't it?
Yeah, which you can't use with XF.
You can't use that
because it's alcohol based.
I'll tell you what, if he's just listened to this, he'll be more confused now than when he started.
Yeah.
Right, Keith, don't do it.
Right, let's get this straight. Do not use X20 with XF paint. X20 is enamel, right? X20A you can use with your XF paints. And like you said, you need some lacquer thinners if you want to convert the XFs or the X's into lacquer paint. So you need some lacquer thinners, which is the buff top one if you go in, or leveling thinner, rapid thinner, whatever. Yeah?
Yeah.
And if you clean it out, you'll need lacquer thinners. Yeah?
Yeah, no problem at all. He says, yes, really enjoyed the Tuesday chat. Had to watch it on the evening as working during the day, but it's a really good show. Why, thank you.
Yeah, and don't use your Vallejo airbrush cleaner to clean your XFs out, or if you're using lacquer thinners in it.
Yeah, because it won't.
It won't work.
Okay, Joe says, quick question for the gang. That he's building the Great Wall Hobbies F15E and I wanted to use the AK Real Colours for the grey, which surprisingly works really well for the camouflage over the skies of Norwich when it's a nice clear blue sky. But I'm looking at the PM store and the so-called F15 dark grey, which is RC246, is that the right colour for the Tuesday? No. So again, there's big, I need training aids to show. Right, so the single seat one, hold on. Can sort of do this. They're a bit bigger than I was planning on for training aids, but it's close. Right, this one, right, is the C, the fighter single seat, and it's got here this dark blue. It's what they used to call Pacific blue, and it was
so that's
because
gunship grey, yeah.
Eh?
That's gunship grey.
No, shush. It's not gunship grey. It's completely something else, okay? But what happened was that the ones in Japan had it. That's why it's known as Pacific colours for the F15. And then in the UK, we had them as well. And then it sort of filtered through standard through all the F15s. But as I say, they're sort of being disbanded and gone now. But this is their sort of air superiority scheme, which is completely different to the Mud Hen, which is that all over boring grey. So this is gunship grey.
So that's F15 grey, yeah, that one there, the E, yeah?
The E is gunship grey. Shush, Matt, you're going to get us into trouble. Right, so it's a completely different thing. To be honest, I shot one of our members a message about this as well, because I say it gets a little bit confusing with it. So again, air superiority scheme, which is basically grey with this funny blue grey on the top. All right, or the Mud Hens are just gunship grey, which is 36118, I do believe, probably, if I've got that right. And on these, I can't read, I've got my glasses on. So, but yes, that's the difference. So it's completely different thing. So you want to do it gunship grey, which is gunship grey. There you go. So it's real colours. If you want to do it there, 244. That's what you want. But for some reason, everyone's getting really confused. It's Matt not helping to confuse the issue here with all the greys.
I totally agree with if it's F15 grey, it should be.
Well, it is, but it's a different version. It's for the fighter version. So
yeah, but they should say that, shouldn't they? They should say F15 grey fighter version.
Yes.
Then everybody
everybody would know the difference. But yeah, as I say, it's going to be the challenge of building that particular kit because it's just one block colour, the entire thing. So
they don't weather either, do they?
Not really, no. No, you never see boring, a really faded in one or anything.
Hey, so it's going to look pretty boring.
Yes.
I tell you what, I bet it's an odd colour to actually weather as well because it's that horrible mid grey there. You're not.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere with it.
Oh,
yeah, no.
Yeah, definitely fill with confidence on this build.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to our tackles this one.
Yes. It will all be to do with highlights and lowlights and shadows.
Hey, so you're going for the Spanish technique,
We'll be doing the Spanish technique. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon from here.
High contrast.
So, yes. Right, okay. So, Steve says, hi, Phil. More of a comment than a question. I heard you say the other day that you'd much prefer building helicopters, but was thinking it was a bit niche topic. How about making everyone happy, well, mostly me, and try the new Hobby Boss MV22 Osprey in 48 scale. This is aircraft that begs to be weathered, and you can build it folded up so it won't take up much space. I have that kit and it is up there. Watch this space. Something might happen with that special. Something criminal really, but there you go. So yes. So that may be part of my my Greebly outing. That's going to be the base kit for it.
With making an alien dropship.
Yes, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing something cool with that. Anyway, so that's the plan for that one. But yes, no, that's a very good idea. But say I've got a plan for that particular kit. But it would be nice to do an Osprey, and in 48 scale, as we said, because we've done the review of it. It's a lump. It's a very nice lump. But watch this space. Jason says, hi guys, sorry that I've been away for a while. Life issues have come up. Anyway, what clear coats do you like best? I mainly paint with AK real colours, MRP and guns. Everyone's choice for a clear coat is?
I like, well, it depends on what you find as a clear coat, a matte satin or a...
Yeah, one of them.
Varnish.
That's a clear coat.
Yeah, I know, but so I use different ones. Yes, so I use, well, actually GX100 for gloss.
112, 113.
Like AK for matte or
got X22.
Yeah.
God, talking about old techniques is turned up.
Yeah.
It's only because he's really tight and he's not going to use anything else until he's used all his clear up.
And we'll give them ours.
Personally, for me, I do like, although I'm going to have to speak to my dealer for it, is XF86. So I've just used the last of it. So yes, I just like it with rapid drying thinners. It's not, because this is what's on here. And it's still got a nice shine to it. I think it's more of a satin finish. It's more flat satin. But that's what tends to be my go-to for clear. I tell you what I'd like to try, though, is the AK stuff, because I haven't tried that yet. The real colours one.
You like the Attacker clears?
Attacker clears as well, yeah, which I have got here, because I've got the Attacker gloss is my go-to. I love that. It's so straightforward. 50-50 mix, plastic down, nice thick coat, goes like glass. It's really nice.
Yeah, I've tried the RC 501, their satin one. That was quite nice.
Yeah, I haven't used any of those yet.
Very similar to Tamiya.
So yeah, if I'm using gloss, to be honest, I do like the Attacker one. Which is number XP09 gloss lacquer clear. Again, 50-50 mix, goes down like glass, really, really nice. If I want something with a bit of bite, you know, for doing weathering and things like that, then Tamiya's XF86 clear, which is their matte clear. But again, it's one of those where if you thin it a bit more, it goes definitely more like a satin than it does a flat coat.
So basically, we all like various things out of different ranges, apart from Nathan, who uses
clear for everything. Do you put flat base in that to make your flat version like we all used to back in the 90s as well?
Here's a lost technique.
Yeah, that is, thank God.
I like that. That's really good for flat.
Yeah, dead flat finish. That stuff's epic.
Have you actually tried that in clear, Nathan? Thinning it with clear.
I've used the gloss. Couldn't vouch for their gloss, but I'm a complete Luddite when it comes to clear coats. These two work for me.
Well, technically, that should mix with clear, shouldn't it?
Should do, yeah. But I've never tried it. But I am literally, it broke, don't fix it when it comes to clear coats. So I've got to be. I have used the Tamiya gloss, so I've sprayed that. But I just know what I'm doing with these two. I've always used them, and I've got a near lifetime supply of future.
Johnson's Clear should go the way of Atlantis and be lost forever.
No, I tell you what should be was the old way to lost techniques. Thank God it has gone. Is when we used to take clear and then put old X21 flat base to make your flat coat. And if you put in one speck too much, your model would turn white.
Yeah. I've got loads of X21. Must have about 6-7 bottles of the stuff.
Why would you need 6? This is the one that I bought and realised what it was.
Well, because it was something when I did armour. That was what I did all the time for getting your satin matte finishes.
I'm amazed it still works. It's great stuff. Look.
But like you said, you get one bit too much, or you don't mix it properly. You get all that white crusty.
It's like a chalky frost over your model.
Yeah.
Talking of going on to the old lost techniques and that, I remember back in the day using Woolworth's own brand wood varnish.
Crikey.
For what?
For clear coating.
For staining his table.
What, with a 2-inch paintbrush?
And he used to put his models together with like wood glue
on there. It used to take forever
to
dry, but...
did it obscure your details?
God, I don't know. I was young.
You know what you used for doing figure faces? You get like the brown highlights and things, low lights in the faces and stuff. You feel like you dabbed on it, so like went in all the crevices and stuff.
Like a wash?
Yeah, like a wash. Yeah,
Woolworths used to be great. They're metal paint as well. They're like metallic wood primer. That was really good for like aluminium.
Bring back Woolies. You could buy your kits there and all your bits.
Yeah.
And you get your pick and mix on the way out.
I was going to say, you missed the pick and mix.
Yeah, Airfix magazine and...
Well, this is it. Okay, David says, greetings from a warm and sunny Arizona. He's on vacation. As far as skills that we've lost, do we need to relearn them? I would say, at least from becoming too fixed on building totally accurate, precise kits, which is very true.
Yes.
It's what we were talking about earlier, really. Perhaps we should learn not to take the hobby too seriously and instead focus more on having fun about building the kit the way we want, regardless of how historically accurate it is. In other words, we need to relearn our own imaginations and creativity when we're building a kit, rather than letting the instructions dictate how it should be done. Well, there we go. That's a good point. That's what we were saying. Putting the fun back in it. So now, everyone, you're just building out of the box. Yep. No aftermarket. Doesn't matter if it's the wrong shape.
We've all got to channel that in a Willy Wonka.
Yes, definitely. Right, Mike G says, last week we were talking about the change in the formula of AK Extreme Metal paints from enamel lacquers. Did we find out any more? Looking to buy some here in the States, but I'd prefer the lacquers. Right, so I haven't had an official announcement, but we've had a semi-official response. Because I'm waiting to hear from the man himself, and he hasn't got back to me yet. I'm clearly not on his Christmas card list anymore. So anyway, as far as AK is concerned, it's a labelling. So they are all been now labelled as lacquers and not enamels. But actually they are enamels. But because of EU regulations and that, it's now classified as a lacquer.
Wow.
That's from them, not us. That's not us, but that's from them. But I've tried to go a little bit further up the food chain to get a more accurate reply, but I've yet to hear back. So
the formula...
Fernando, if you are watching this, you've got my number. Just saying.
In the
EU, me, maybe.
It's a lacquer paint.
So, does that work? How does that work then? Because they're two different things, aren't they? Enamels and lacquers.
That doesn't sound quite. That's
what we've heard back, saying that it's basically a labelling issue. So it has to, even though it's an enamel product, it's labelled as a lacquer for whatever reason. So apparently it's still an enamel, it's just labelled as a lacquer.
Okay, maybe that's why I wrote it. So
Not getting involved. I am not saying a word.
But I haven't had it from the top of the tree yet. I'm waiting to hear back.
Is that anything to do with like why tinlets aren't allowed to be sold in Europe now? Because they're enamels.
Yeah, perhaps that's a point. That's a good point, because we had this come up on the forum, didn't we? That apparently that tinlets are now banned in Europe, in EU. So, because apparently they've got something in them that's not very nice to cats or something.
But don't we get the same over here, and that's why we don't get enamel sort of washes from Tamiya and stuff, because it's enamel.
Yes.
There's some.
Surely,
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is because it's...
It's an health and safety labelling issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just mention something? My brain's aching already, so can we?
Yeah, mine has all as well. This is
I think that might be just wait and see what.
It's a no-win conversation at the minute because we ain't got no hard evidence to prove anything. So I think we should just move along.
Right. Okay. Moving along. Right. Okay. So Andrew says, "Hi all. I'm thinking about getting a new airbrush cleaning pot. The Vallejo one looks okay, and I've watched a couple of YouTube videos on them, and some put water in them. I was just wondering if you've ever heard of doing that. Has anyone ever put water in your pot? Have you got water in there?
It catches the particles in the water, doesn't it? Because obviously the particles catch in the water's heavier density, so it thinks you just empty. I've got kitchen roll in the bottom of mine.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I just put kitchen roll in mine.
Mine's got a kitchen roll at the bottom, yeah.
In fact, I can see
mine's up to there, and that's probably just lack of thinners in it.
Look, when we're all out of fuel, right, and because obviously the price of fuel and heating crisis, you'll be able to decant that and burn it.
Yeah.
Can't get it.
So anyway, is it worth doing that? I know you have no stock at PM at the moment, but are we planning on getting any more? Didn't we have some Tamiya ones in at one point?
No, they don't do them. No, it's just to be honest with you, if you just go on Amazon, it's just cheap as chips anyway. It's only because we got them.
Yeah, cheap, didn't we?
Here's mine. Mine's got proper character. Look, it's absolutely hanging.
Just can't manage to get the lid off mine. Mine's completely sealed.
I'm not even trying mine.
I can't get in it. But yeah, I've got paper. Mine's not swimming like yours.
This is probably
dry.
This is probably
Mine's
the most.
dry.
Have you filter? Have you still got your filter thing in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my filter.
Oh,
Ooh.
ooh, that's
mine.
Oh, that's health and safety, John.
Just dump it in there. I have the fan running. It clears all the.
Matt's is nearly empty because he sprays it into his spray booth.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to put water in it then, or not?
Yeah, is that where I've been going wrong? I need to put some water in it.
Yeah.
That doesn't put a difference. Water makes. What's it going to do?
Well, if I
it
knock
the
it
water-
over, and I usually do, I'm going to get water everywhere. At least if I knock it over at the moment, it's fine.
The water float on top of the thinners, or thinners float on top of the water?
The water will catch the particles of what you're spraying in to suspend it in the water. So you just get dirty water.
Okay, so does this is because I must admit I know they do, isn't it? For powder coating, they have those like it looks like a waterfall, doesn't it? And they spray as you're doing your powder coating, and it all gets pulled through. Is that a similar effect? Because obviously you can get spray booths now, which are actually just water curtains. Have you seen them? Like our size, and it's literally like that. And then obviously it's just the back wall is just water constantly, and it's pumping it round.
That's for dust, though, isn't it?
No, that's a proper airbrush spraying booth. I've seen one. A friend of mine's got one.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Because he bought it thinking it was going to be quieter, you see, because he does it in a flat, an apartment. And so if they call it an apartment, I say it's a flat. But the thing is, he was like, the reason he bought it is because obviously running one of them is really loud. But he points out the pump is the same sound as what one of those makes, really.
So I was going to say, he's got a water feature then in his apartment.
Yeah, he has. As I say, does it make you want to go to the loo? Just sat there, you'd be like...
Sit there cross-legged.
Need a pee.
5 minutes of spraying, you need the loo.
I pointed out you could just go in it.
I think it was a video of something in Germany. I can't remember what they were making. I think it was a toy. The guy basically was spraying these toys, and it was just like a wall of water. I mean, this thing was huge, and he was spraying into water. It was like a waterfall. I think it is a thing. This like water.
I think like Matt said, that's just to get rid of the dust, though. It's just take the dust particles away from you into it.
What about if the water splashes on what you've painted? Water and paint don't mix very well. I know this from experience, so I can't see the benefit of a water fountain near where you're spraying, because it takes one splash and it's
and also if you're doing a big model like this, the amount of times I hit the filter with it as you move, you imagine you put your wing of your plane in it, you get splashed. Yeah, I can't see it being the best idea, but as I say, I know somebody who has bought one because he thought it would be quieter than obviously running one of those, and as he said, it's really noisy because it's got a pump, because it's a really high flow going through it.
Isn't it?
So what happens to the dirty water?
You
change it out. It's a reservoir tank system that does it, and then you can see it obviously, because when it looks dirty, you just pull the plug into a bucket or a bowl, take it off, and then obviously you just fill it up with just normal tap water.
I remember seeing something.
What do you do with the wastewater? You can't just tip it down the drain.
Yeah, well, he does. So feed the plants. They look lovely and silvery now. Chuck it over your plants.
I remember seeing something like, I'm sure it was like BMW or something, with one of their plants where the cars went through the spray booths, and they got like water curtains.
That's dust. That's for dust
prevention.
Yeah, well, I know. I used to go to a powder coating company, and that's what they've got. Because they got the hooks, looks like meat hooks, and you hang the parts on it, and that's powder coating, and they'll powder coat, and that's what they've got going behind it. So obviously, all the dusty bits go on and get knocked down and out.
This does.
Yeah, interesting. Anyway,
interesting. But as for needing to put water into it, I don't. Well, I've never have. My worry is if you was to knock it over and it's full of water, it's going to go everywhere, isn't it?
See, mine's awful lacquer thinners. My only thought is that if the water sits on top of the lacquer thinners, then it'll stop the fumes coming out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, true. Could do.
Yeah, but it was suspended underneath the water, but I don't know whether...
Well, I would have thought the lacquers would have sat on top, being lighter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
I think the lacquer thinners sit on the top, and it stops it smelling like a frog pond.
Yeah.
Well, mine's like a...
Water's been in there for about...
There've been no frogs living in mine, I can assure you.
I'll tell you what, you could run your car on that. Might smoke a bit. Okay, last question is from Adam. He says, evening all. Firstly, I'd like to share a nugget of potentially useless information for acrylic users wanting to prevent tip dry. Spray half a cup of unscented hand sanitizer through your airbrush before you start. Don't ask me why. It works, but I haven't had tip dry since I ran out of thinners at the start of COVID.
Well, hand sanitizer is IPA, isn't it?
I was going to say that. Wasn't it needle juice? Because that's all that is as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You used to be able to buy, it's called needle juice, and that's what it is. And you put it onto your needle before you paint, and the idea is that nothing can stick to the needle to get tip dry. So that's...
Vaseline does the same thing.
Does it? Here we go.
Oh, yeah, it's a petroleum jelly and all them sort of, sex aids.
Is that why you have the big industrial jar at your house?
Vaseline, because obviously it lubes your needle. We're going down that road.
I was going to say,
lubing your needle and all that crap. But yeah,
here's my barrel of it.
Yeah.
Get yourself a jar of KY for your airbrush, is that what we're saying?
Yeah. And sanitizer is just literally IPA with some aloe vera, so something just to stop your things dry, stop your hands drying out.
Things drying out.
So it's just like it's just.
So what we're talking about is lubing yourself up vigorously to stop it drying on the end.
Yeah, you don't want a dry tip
because no one likes a dry tip. Anyway, he says on to his main question. He's recently finished both the Zucchimori F4 and the Tamiya Phantom. I personally think the Zucchimori Phantom is a superior and more value for money than the Tamiya one. The same goes for the Spitfire Mark 1 Tamiya versus the Edard. I think the Edard one excels. The AMK versus Tamiya F14, the AMK is better value for money. And are we seeing a tipping point away from the revered god status of Tamiya kits? Good point, especially with the Mini Arts upcoming P47.
He's talking about a value for money, but then there's also easy build, isn't there? I'm sure the F14 would probably be.
Oh yeah, that's a lot easier one than the AMK one. Yeah.
And same as the Phantoms and the and the Spitfire.
Hmm.
I think there's that. Do you know what? I think there's an element of truth in it. I think Tamiya have stood still.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years now.
Since the Spitfire, I think.
Yeah.
Tamiya have stood still, and more companies have gone shot right past them.
I can honestly say I think the last sort of wonder kit out of Tamiya was the Mosquito.
Yeah.
Because that had everything sort of going for it. They redesigned out even down to the tyres, so you could do it so you didn't have seams and things. It's very clever. And after that, we just haven't seen anything new, cutting edge, pushing the envelope a bit. You know. As I say, I want to see the mini art because let's face it, mini art are not known as the most straightforward kits to put together. They're usually very complex. So I'm interested to see how mini arts, because obviously they're doing two flavours of that P47, aren't they? They're doing a warts and all version and like a, a normal version. And it would be interesting to see how they go together. Looking forward to seeing it, definitely. But as for value for money, again, we're just down to that old age thing. Everything that comes out of Japan costs a fortune, and obviously AMK comes via different routes. And it's always been, I think, I don't know, what's the full retail on the AMK F14? And not our price, but the usual one.
I don't know.
But you think, we were doing it for 50 quid. That's a bargain kit. Absolute bargain. When you think the Tamiya one's 90 now.
Yeah.
So...
It was interesting seeing that question because this morning I was watching a video on YouTube by, I think he's a relatively well-known YouTuber. I don't actually follow him.
Oh, he gets in quickly.
It came up on my feed, but he was basically saying Tamiya were the worst kits ever because they were expensive, they were boring to build, and it was quite funny when I saw that question come up as well. I suppose it depends on your viewpoint, doesn't it?
I like a Tamiya build. They just go quickly.
Yeah, we've often said this, isn't it? And that was my main point with when we've had this conversation before. If you want a trouble-free, totally enjoyable build, you're going to go Tamiya, with a couple of exceptions. But if you want to do something a little bit more challenging, then there's a lot more options out there that are probably better value for money as well. Why are you grinning, Matthew? What have you done?
What? I'm not nothing.
You're grinning like a Cheshire cat over there. Go on. What's your opinion?
No.
I'm glad he thinks that the ZM Phantom's better than the Tamiya one because I'm looking forward to getting mine.
We are, aren't we, John? They are still coming, aren't they, Matthew? Don't tell us now you're not. You've got to wait.
What you on about?
The Zuckerberg Phantoms.
The sound's gone.
Oh,
sorry.
is it? Don't you tell me that's been delayed again.
No, they're on the way.
No, that's all right then.
Yeah, no, they are coming. Zuckerberg Phantoms, if that's what you're on about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will get them, so you can build them over the summer.
Yes. Yeah. Very nice. Cool. Very good. Right. Everyone all right in chat?
Seem to be.
We've not really interacted with them much, have we? But we've been busy talking.
Yes. Very good. Righty-ho. Well, there we go. 9 o'clock, all is well. The world is fine now. We can all move on. Now we've put the world to rights with everything.
Yeah.
So, yes. Look, Chris is off to school because it's 8 o'clock there now.
Yeah.
So, good job.
He's off to school and I'll be off to bed.
Yes, I must admit it's a bit whiffy in here because I've been using oils all day and it's a bit... I need to Febreze in here, I think. But yes, very good. Anyway, I'll be with you tomorrow for the roundup show and obviously for your gallery. So if you finished any models this week, make sure you get your photos up before 9 o'clock, ideally in the mornings. That's when I tend to do the gallery, put all that together, get it edited and ready for the main show, which I tend to do around about sort of lunchtime as well. So, and then obviously that'll be up in the afternoon. I'm not sure, if I'm honest with you, which one you're going to get yet because I haven't edited it. So it's either going to be the next part on the Hornet will be up with you, or it will be the next part on the actual Hurricane. It will be one of them. I just don't know which one it is yet. So we'll have to see exactly how we go with that one. Hopefully it'll be the Hurricane just to keep the balance going as we are. Because we're on part 10 with both of them. Look at that. Amazing that. Both on part 10. So cool. Good job. Yeah. Right. Okie dokie then, guys. Don't forget the clocks change at the weekend. Good point, Graham. We will get an hour less in bed. Clocks go forward an hour. Spring forward full back.
And don't forget, it's Mother's Day.
And it's Mother's Day. I've done mine already. I went round and saw her today. So we're okay. I've done my bit. So yes, very nice. Right, okay then guys. Thank you very much for watching. We are out of here. Say goodbye, gentlemen. We'll catch you all next week. Happy modelling. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.